Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we will continue to read the story of a woman who had a boyfriend that used her for her money and cheated on her, so she decided to take revenge on him. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I highly recommend watching it on our channel first to fully understand the story and its progression. Let's get started. I was told in my previous post to expose them to her, but she knows about me. Her texts were sometimes insistent on him making a choice and sometimes very passive about understanding he needed time. Her mother and sister both did a Facebook check-in at the British Virgin Islands airport, so this is definitely not a business trip. Let them cover his expenses now. I don't think her mother likes Nick because their texts make reference to some parental interference from her mum. I'm sure Nick's crap show will begin when he tries to get into our place. Maybe the owner already changed the locks by then. If not, he must already know, as his stuff was shipped. I will take advice and go to therapy because my levels of anxiety are over the top now. About his tablet, I logged onto it and found it logged into his email accounts and texting. It was both cathartic and awful. I found out he'd been fired from his government job. It's not that he lost his job. He effing got fired, lied to me about getting a new job, and then lied about not getting paid. From what I gathered, he spent days walking around the mall, and I don't know for what purpose. She constantly asked him if he was at XYZ shop. Sometimes he sent her pictures of his breakfast at the mall. I started that relationship fair and square. He was single. At least I'm glad I was never a side piece. His breakup with her is confirmed by the messages. She's very young, female 26, has a job, and comes from a tight-knit family from what it looks like on her mother's Facebook page. Their messages also let me know what a lowlife he is. He wanted her to actively market his non-existent business, and when she succeeded, then he would be comfortable about leaving me. He told her he would have left me earlier, but she needed to understand that would affect him, and she needed to understand that. She replied with desperate messages that she was looking for a better job. Sometimes she was docile and didn't push him. Nick showed up one day with a rolling case bag full of documents. He said he could use it to call in clients. I was excited until he said it was from his ex's office, that those files were meant to be discarded, so he will use them. That was among the first red flags that I got when I found out they were back together. I refused, 1, because those are confidential client files and it's illegal, and 2, because I wanted nothing to do with her. So, in other words, her boss entrusted her to dispose of them, and she turned them over to Nick. I had lawyered up about this some time ago. Initially, I wasn't going to do anything, but after reading her unkind messages when I was sick, I decided to turn the files over to her boss via my lawyer. No further action will be taken on my side, but aside from screwing her up, I need to make it clear that I never used or took advantage of those files, just in case she and Nick get in trouble somewhere along the way. I am safe and happy to be so near my family, but I'm mentally drained. I feel dirty and disposable. His family knew, his friends knew, she knew I existed and said I was playing sick to get pity. She texted that I wasn't helping more financially because I'm greedy. His replies reinforced this. His empty goals played a part here. He's been promising her that he will make it big and talks too much crap about an industry he hardly knows. All he had were my good faith and knowledge. He never nurtured his own network because he gets mad when he's told no but does nothing to be worthy of people's time. I will never again help a man build himself ever. I need to refocus and rebuild my life. I want to help my sister. Maybe I'll take chunks of Nick's so-called business and develop it for her if she agrees. I need to lose my feeling of being invalidated. It helps that I left a crap show behind for them to deal with. Let Nick move in with his sharp-tongued sister and her unruly kids that she allows to climb on the wall. If they could, let him find out how the website has been taken down. He asked me to back him up, to occasionally pay for the business dinners. I wonder if he tried to be a hero and tried to slide the card for his side chick's family's meals. I will never know. I hope he enjoys living with his little brother and his baby mama drama from an ex who is now successful and wastes no time dragging him down. I'd love to see the situation when his older brother gets yelled at and taken to court by his ex. This is basically a yearly event. Update 2, thanks for your kind replies and messages. My update is kind of fragmented as it's not first-hand knowledge. I spent New Year's Eve with my family. It was both weird and a relief. It was so nice I almost felt out of place since Nick's family is kind of difficult in terms of keeping their relationships together. Their holiday gatherings tend to bring a lot of tension, so my New Year's Eve was simple. I went to visit family and got to enjoy the gathering with old friends we've known for years. I liked the feeling of just being a regular person and not having to be guarded against getting on mother-in-law's or sister-in-law's bad side, or feeling that my significant other isn't making an effort to compensate for me being away from my family. My sister agreed to allow me to help her set up a new business. I'll be coaching her. She won't have to go crazy looking for clients as I'll outsource some tasks to her. I'll be helping her get new clients once she fully learns and masters her new trade. Also, this will surely allow her to practice while gaining credibility. She's a hard worker, and she already enrolled in courses so that she can gain some expertise. My sister is a patient learner who writes everything down. I love it because it encourages me to keep it up. I also had a chance to get to know my teenage nieces and nephews a little better. They grew fast while I was away, and to actively participate in helping the family pets stay in a room where they would be safe during the fireworks madness. I rolled the storm stoppers at home before I left, so hopefully it helped with the sound situation. I left my family's home early the next morning and spent the whole day in my pajamas watching comedy shows. Honestly, loungewear is the best way to ease my melody. I need the light-hearted stuff right now. I got lots of sushi and pizza. I treated myself too. I'm still recovering from my illness, and I think the long trip took a toll because I'm fatigued. It could also be mental exhaustion. Well, my only option now is to get better. So, about Nick, the crap hit the fan at least twice. I got an update from my landlord. My lawyer suggested I give my landlord my new number to keep communication open should he need anything or need any post-move adjustments. I left owing him no money and the catio and everything else was taken down, but it's best to keep communication open to avoid misunderstandings. Everything was clear between me and Andy, the landlord. He just called to verify that I didn't give Nick any instructions for asking him for anything. First, he showed up asking for assistance unlocking the door because his key was broken, lying. The landlord refused, but when he came back this time with his mother and sister, the landlord called me as Nick claimed that I said I'd left some of his stuff with Andy. This makes no sense. I confirmed this is a lie. Nick wanted Andy to open the door for him, but Andy declined. Andy mentioned things that he just can't make up. He said Nick told him that he's a businessman and a respectable person and that he's a victim because I'm trying to take him down because I know he can succeed. This sounds so familiar. Back when we were together, he used to blame unknown enemies for his setbacks. When I say unknown, just think about the man that crap started when I called him out for not putting enough effort into his goals. Oh, and he said this is happening because he broke up with me and I couldn't handle it. Also, he tried to talk to Andy into letting him stay for the remainder of the lease to extinguish the time frame until the next trend, but obviously the answer was no. Also, even if he got in, all utilities have been cancelled. His sister suggested Nick bring a bed or something to use up the remaining weeks of the lease, but this is a no-go since the lease was only in my name. This originated in exchange between her and the landlord. Nick and his family insisted on lurking around after being asked to leave. He says Nick and his mother made it really hard to get rid of, and that his sister sat on the stairs and was defiant. I can't recall what her reply was when Andy told her that sitting on the staircase wasn't allowed, but it was enough to piss Andy off. Nick was hell-bent on convincing him that he needed to let him in to retrieve his business files and information. Nothing else happened at this point after they were told the police would be called on them, so Nick and his family went outside and remained in the parking lot. Andy told me Nick looked flushed and unhinged and was talking really fast. Oh, and he demonized me the whole time. Andy and I had an excellent landlord-tenant rapport, so I was kind of embarrassed when he told me Nick tried to put himself at Andy's professional level and kind of tried to remove boundaries. I know this is on Nick, but it reflects on me also because I was with him. That's all I know from Andy's side, so sorry if this doesn't make a lot of sense. Then I called my lawyer. It was all covered before I left, but I got confirmation that a successful lawsuit is another long shot, since Nick only used his mother's address as his official dwelling place. He even used it for his legal battle with his ex-wife. I know this for a fact. My sister sent me screenshots from his affair partner's mum's profile. Nick's sister and the affair partner's sister have been at the crossfire over their siblings. I don't know the affair partner's sister's personality, but I know my former sister-in-law is very prone to getting involved. There are lots of cryptic, hostile posts on his sister's side. It's all hatred against her own ex, and lots of venom against people who will claim to love you but won't hesitate to attempt to destroy you and never trust someone who claims they will help you but will leave you with nothing. She also makes reference to little women who get infatuated with men and dump them after they are finally available. Beware of women who behave like groupies. They don't love you, they won't stick with you, and you will learn who really loves you when you have nothing but yourself to offer. Also, she gets lots of quotes with Nick being tagged about family being there for you, and tomorrow will look better. That's totally them and the dynamics of their family from hell. They love to hurt people but act like victims, and are all too sensitive to take responsibility. Okay, so the affair partner's mother has gone crazy in the last 6 days or so. They did celebrate New Year's Eve, and Nick's face is nowhere to be seen. All of her siblings are shown with their significant others, and she is not shown with him. Also, all pictures showing Nick from the Caribbean family vacation seem to have been deleted. I noticed she wasn't tagged in her employer's Christmas post. I'm familiar with that company style. I'll admit I went crazy checking their profile when I first found out about their affair, and they love to tag their employees. It's a small company. She was tagged for Thanksgiving and all the previous e-greeting posts from every holiday last year, so they include all their employees in these posts, and she hasn't been included. Not on the Christmas post, not on the New Year's Eve post, not on the New Year's Day post. They posted about 3 entries in between, and she wasn't tagged. Her profile is active, but she's just not included. Her sister, who lives abroad, posted a picture of all the siblings, and she definitely hates Nick. Nick's affair partner replied with a nice sentence about family, and the sister told her that she's amazing and that she is sure God will have great things in store for her next year. Remember, when a door closes, thousands will open, and whoever should not be in your life will be removed, no matter how painful it gets. She also posts a lot about freeloaders. I don't like the affair partner, but I feel that somehow she's getting scapegoated by his family. I'm not sure what happened or exactly what went down. They are definitely not together, and she seems to no longer be working at that firm. Her mother seems to be reeling and has been writing a lot about parasitic men, losers seeking someone to latch onto, and mothers are always right. To be honest, I don't think their breakup, if so, has to do with me cancelling his chances at using me. The vibe I'm getting is that maybe he tried to squeeze more than was acceptable from the affair partner in front of her family, or I could be wrong. And that's the end of this story. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comment.